Hello Driver Radio fans, Richard Rush here today with Walt McLean behind the camera. And today we're going to do a review of the 2017 Nissan Sentra. This is the SR Turbo model. So this is not a whole lot changed from 2016 to 2017, except for what lies underneath the hood, which is the new 1.6 liter turbocharged engine. And I shouldn't say new because it's a similar, actually I think it's the same engine from the Juke, but they've actually put it into the Sentra this year, so that is new and the big. Everything else in terms of the changes are a little bit larger brakes on the turbo and a revamped electric power steering system. Also, they do have a little bit thicker glass around for a little bit better sound deadening. So, but with that being said, Walt, let's show them the front of this, and we'll kind of bring the rest of the review into the fold here. So as we mentioned, this is the SR, just one of several trim level options or trim options. What comes on the SR Turbo? Standard. Well, 17-inch alloy wheels, rear disc brakes, a sport body kit with a spoiler, which we'll show you here in just a second, LED headlights, and those are only on your low beams. So as you can see there, the 17-inch alloy wheels. Want to mention that the high beams are not LED. They are your typical, I guess, halogen lights. Heated mirrors, upgraded cloth upholstery, which we'll show you in just a second. Heated front seats, as well as the sunroof is what that SR Turbo gives you. They also have a premium package available that upgrades the interior a little bit, gives you more of that premium feel, but again, won't get too much into that right now. So as you come around to the back, again, you'll see the SR Turbo badging, the spoiler that we mentioned with the integrated tail light right there. We're going to get into this in just a second. One of the big calling cards to the Sentra, not only on this year but just in general, is the roominess on the inside. Had two 6 foot plus individuals in the car, Walt included. There's plenty of headroom. I don't know if it's something that you could drive long distances with the 6 foot and over crowd, but definitely you can fit them in. More than enough headroom, even with the sunroof, which we'll show you here in just a second. But while we're back here for the trunk, I will show you, got the key fob right here. Gonna hold open. Not an automatic trunk, of course, but it does open enough to where if you only had maybe just a slight freehand open, you could open it right here. As you come to the back, you'll notice this is actually a $200 option, the carpeted floor mats in the trunk and throughout. If you lift this up, you've got a little bit of storage where the spare tire is going to go. I'm not going to do it because you have to kind of pop this open. You've got 60-40 folding rear seats right here, 60 on the driver's side, 40 on the passenger side, that you can fold down. You do have to do that from the front seat, however, or from the back passenger seat, I should say. You can't do anything back here on the trunk. 15.1 cubic feet of cargo room, which is incredibly high for this class. You're not going to find that many other places. This actually is going to compete well with some of the full-size sedans. So this is something to note there. As we come to the back, Walt, I'm not sure if this is going to be good lighting, but why don't we just roll right into it. We'll show you the kind of the back seat portion. As you slide it, this seat is set for myself, which is about 5'9", 5'10" driver. I've got more than enough legroom, which is, again, as you can see, why this is a calling card for the Sentra. Nice door apportionments right here, nice soft touch leather materials, and that's really the extent of it. You've got your window switch right here, and the rest of it, and apologize, you're getting a little bit of a rain/snow shower here. Everything else in terms of the front cabin or in this back cabin is pretty much what you would expect. You do have two little cup holders here in the center console, but more than enough headroom. Walt, I'm not sure if you can show this, but the headroom right here, well, first we'll show you kind of the center console, and then we'll show you the headroom. Yes, it's got an indentation right here for the sunroof. However, it does slope back up for the backseat passengers, which is a really nice feature there. But again, plenty of leg room. You'll notice that this seat is all the way back, plus tilted back again for those 6 foot plus individuals. So with that being said, we'll meet you on the other side and go through the front interior, and then we'll take a quick drive in the 2017 Nissan Sentra. All right, fans, here we are for the front seat portion. Going to really quickly show you the front seat. There's not a whole lot to the 27 Sentra in terms of the SR Turbo model. The door apportionments there, very similar to the back seat. And if Walt, if you can show them that, there's not a whole lot else in there. They've added a little bit of a kind of a carbon or just a different looking kind of trim right there. Again, some nice soft touch materials. A little bit of doors, pocket storage, but not a whole lot. Again, very simple, very basic, not a bad thing, just what the Sentra is. As you come into here, I do like these seats, very comfortable seats. I like the stitching with this nice blue kind of leather, not leather, but just, I like the blue stitching. It's a very nice contrast to it. You do have heated seats in here, the emergency brake, 2 cup holders, not enough, or not, sorry, I don't really think there's enough space for a dual climate control, but I think it is an option on some of the higher trim levels. Don't really need it in my opinion. No standard touchscreen, something that we'll get into in the opinion portion of it. However, very easy to use, very simple to operate infotainment system. All the other controls are typically what you'd find on a Nissan. This does come with the 6-speed manual, as you can see, rather than the CVT transmission. We'll get into fuel economy and the driving portion here in just a second. But in terms of the interior, very basic, very simple. Not a whole lot that can go wrong, which is exactly what you're expecting from a car like this. With that being said, we'll have Walt hop on the back seat and we'll go for a quick drive in the 2017 Nissan Sentra. All right, fans, here we are for the driving portion. I want to show you a little bit more of the infotainment. We apologize about the glare early morning review prior to a snowstorm here. Actually, Walt, while we've got it, you can see the backup camera here. Let me make sure it's all the way in gear. That's an operator error. So as you can see, no dynamic grid lines, but you do have a full backup camera here. I apologize if it's hard to see. Not that you need the dynamic grid lines, but just something that's a nice feature on some of these cars that we do drive. Again, not a touchscreen. We'll get into more of that in a second. However, everything's very easy to use, simple to operate. You do have a display kind of on and off button right there, which is handy if you don't want to see the display, especially at night. Everything else is very simple, very easy to operate, very kind of first nature, where exactly you kind of would put your hands and where you would expect everything to be. So with that being said, take a quick drive. Again, as I mentioned at the start, 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, 188 horsepower. You got 2 options, either the CVT or the manual transmission. For this, average fuel economy is supposed to be anywhere from 26 and 32, so an average of 28. I have driven this car very heavily this past week, and as some of you guys know from our past reviews, I have more of a lead foot than my dad does, and I've been able to average nearly 31 miles per gallon. So that is very, very good. Definitely a selling point and a feature that we really like in this car is that fuel economy, that extra little bit of, with fuel prices the way they are now, that's not as big of a selling point, but especially as prices go up, or if you do live in an area where prices are higher, definitely something to consider. Very spacious on the inside, not a whole lot of bells and whistles on this model. You can get it priced kind of how you want it, or customized how you want it. If you're interested in that, I would encourage you to head to your local Nissan dealer, or head to Nissan's website, test it out from there. In terms of driving performance, they have beefed up the suspension a little bit with the SR Turbo, trying to give it a little bit more of a sporty feel. I apologize for the sun. I know that's going to be bad lighting. Just kind of pay attention to the words. It doesn't have that oomph that a lot of you are going to expect in a turbo. It's not necessarily a go-kart on wheels or anything like that, but it's a suitable vehicle, has more than enough get up and go when you need it to. You can spin the tires if you're looking for, which actually leads me into my opinion. I really like this turbocharged engine. I think you're going to see a lot more of these because they give you the fuel economy that you need, as well as the power that people are looking for. In terms of features, one thing I wish Nissan, I don't mind all the basics and the simplicities of this vehicle. However, I really do wish that you would give a standard touchscreen control. I'm not sure why that is not standard as of right now. It's definitely something that I think should be a standard use. In terms of the clutch and the manual, some people are going to ask, well, how is that? Very easy clutch to use, very simple to operate. It's very forgiving. It has nice leeway. It's not a, I would not classify this as the sportiest of sport cars by any stretch of the imagination. However, it definitely has its pros and cons, and I think especially for maybe a first car, or if you're not used to driving a heavy clutch, this might be the car for you. So with all that being said, who do you recommend this car for? Some urban dwellers, maybe if you're in a city looking for that first vehicle that you know is going to be reliable, going to be able to go at least several 100,000 miles. And sorry if that's not said right, but definitely that's what this car's for, with it being a Nissan. So with all that being said, really great car. Nissan, I think you've done 2 thumbs up for this category, for this segment. Can definitely make some improvements. Overall, though, I think it's a very well put together car. It's really like that new engine that you guys have added. So if you want to learn more about this vehicle, head to Nissan's website or head to your local dealer and tell them that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.